Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kingdom of Poland here in January of 1357, where we are the Schlafstone insurgents. We are bringing them down due to our cabinet having to focus on cracking down on the insurgents. We're trying to improve our diplomatic relations. We are building a spy network against the Teutonic Order. Still working on annexation now. Rawa, we're going to have to try to adjust and figure out how we might be able to annex them because of the rural settlements plus 280, and then lesser Polish culture influence versus Mazovian, and multiple annexations at the same time, negative 50%. Now, Plock, we think we're about 6 years away, 1.31 each month. We are also losing 50% because of the multiple annexations at the same time. Now, Rawa and Cirque are obviously larger. Ronclaw is relatively small. We are missing still a lot of our burgers. You can see 730 for the food orchard of Mistow, 734 for the rural cloth maker, 174 for the Baliff in Cernaz, and then a lot of people in Poznan and Torun we are missing. Of course, our population is still recovering from the Black Death, as we're at 931,000 people. We have our former population of 1.4 billion. We are playing with the open beta 1.08 patch on the game, so we'll see how that runs. I wasn't entirely sure if the game would load or crash, right, playing with that, but so far it seems to be running all right. Rasabor and Sirwiz, they have insulted us both. They will expire in 1358 and 1361 in terms of the Casus Belli's. Our second son, Civil Wet, is 16 years old. He is eligible for marriage. However, okay, now we have people who would marry him. Okay, originally we did not have a royal marriage option for him. The county of Alencon has 2. Ansbach has 1. Adelheid von Hohenzollern, she is 17. The Armagnacs are offering up Joanna, who is 16. The Duchy of Austria, Katharina von Habsburg, 50, 40, and 57. You know what? Ooh, the Kingdom of Denmark with Adelheid Estradotter. That would be interesting. And what is interesting, like, would Austria obviously has a lot of little duchies and territories throughout Europe, would that would be fascinating to me to marry in Austria. By far the most powerful option here. The only question I have about that is we are obviously allied to the Kingdom of Hungary here. Does that potentially damage or change our relationships down the line? Friedrich von Habsburg. So I think, honestly, I would love to play as Austria and have the rise of the Habsburgs. I think that will be a save I do. But for right now, we are going to marry Katharina. We will gain 0.84 prestige. They will... Ooh. We don't really gain... Why don't we... Okay, is there a duchy? Is that why? Okay, so what if we marry to the Kingdom of Denmark? We would gain 4.45. She's a 56, 47, and 42. You know what? I am actually go for Denmark here, because as we continue to declare war on the Teutonic Order, maybe push towards the Baltic, having good allies with them might make sense. They are in a union, though. Interesting. The Cardinals and the Curie have now come to De Gratia Rex for 10 years. Estates, dissatisfaction, equilibrium, plus 5%. So since they're in a union, I think we will go for Austria. Although they, although they're in a union as well. But you know what? Just so we can say that we married into the House of Habsburg, we will go for that. So we are married into the Austria royal, the Habsburg royal family. We are making 10.24 ducats currently. Hopefully the music was not too loud. It seemed kind of loud on my headset, so I turned it down just a little bit there. We are working also on improving the relations we have with Hungary. How many soldiers in Serdaz are we gaining? Because remember, we did that building to try to increase the proximity and the control. Got 360 people last month, so again, we're up to 932,000. 527 ducats, so we can build. Like, that is not the problem. The question is, what would I build to begin with? Now, we could try to build a road, right? And that would increase control and proximity and all of that from Poznan to Krakow. That might be the building to build, or the massive infrastructure, as we have a settlement built now in Proswitz. Although you can see we have negative 213 laborers. They're negative 40.53 food in the capital region of Krakow, mostly because of Krakow itself. But we do have the food purchase in the market, so we are gaining 715 food. You know, in the market, what is this? No active policy. Economy of the union law under the Polish union has no active policy. One monarch might rule over multiple thrones, yet the members of the union are very separated in their economy. This law shall bring them all closer together. 5 prestige and 5 legitimacy. Unified treasury. I don't know if I want that. Cooperative investment can build roads of members, buildings of members, and RGOs of members. I think we'll do this rather than the unified treasury. Because the requirements are not met. The nobility, clergy, and burghers' estates of all opponents of the resolution lose 15% estate satisfaction. Poland has proposed that the Polish Union enact an active policy for the economy of the Union. So we are still played here with Kazimierz King Kazimierz III of Poland, who's 46 years old now. We are suffering from... no, we're not suffering from the bubonic plague, but we do have... what was... Not typhus, was it measles? No. Smallpox. No presence in our country. Okay, so... we can get rid of that then, maybe. We did get up to 440 pops that month, so I think that's the largest growth we've ever had since before the plague hit. We are in the age of Renaissance, and we're at... You know what, let's, can we get rid of this? Yes, cancel the annexation. Yes, we're going to cancel the annexation of Rawa. Just because, I mean, one, it was taking forever. Two... it gave us a negative modifier there on Plock. We can't... we do not have any more diplomats. We need to get diplomats. what is our capital in terms of employees? So we have 337 burgers. We have 998 laborers, and we have 730 clerics. So, okay, library. Okay, the chancery. The efficiency of our cabinet goes up. Okay, that doesn't really help us too much. The royal garden. Okay, we need 50 nobles. We need furniture, tools, glass, fine cloth, books, gold, and marble. We are going to build a royal garden in Krakow, which will take 455 days, which will improve our diplomats, right? Because we need to be able to improve our diplomats so we could improve. I mean, we're improving opinion in Hungary right now, but we could improve the opinion of our vassals. 1361 now for Plock. $649 people. That's what I like to see. Right? That is just a massive amount of people. So if we look at control, right, you can see it's improving a little bit up here, but not a lot. All right, and then of course proximity to the capital. You can see Serdaz is improving a little bit as well. Now, the main building we can build to try to improve our control is a temple, but you need to have a city for that, and or a town at least, and we only have 3. Currently, we are also researching the loyalty of subjects +5. Feudalism is based upon the concepts of the exilium and concilium given by different ranks of nobles to their respective lords, creating a hierarchy that has greatly developed through the ages. I mean, we do have some rebel movements. None of them are really gaining very much. The RGOs are finally starting to, become more and more filled, which is unsurprisingly, right, as our RGOs become more efficient, our income is going up. I mean, that's, not really shocking. So there are going to be a few more games coming out on the channel recently. This week trying to change it up a little bit. I know that we're not, or I'm not, sorry, we're not a super huge channel or anything like that. So it might seem strange to try to bring in another game, right? But while one could argue, hey, just continue focusing on EU5 and Poland, trying to get better in the episodes, maybe speeding up the time, finding ways to make them more interesting, and definitely want to do all that. I'm going to sneeze here for a moment, so I apologize. Sorry about that. And I'm definitely going to try to do that, but there are also a lot of other games that I really do truly love playing and want to try to have as part of the channel as well. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. And also, it just kind of allows me to break it up so not every single episode is about, EU5, although I definitely could make it that way because it is incredibly fun. And I kind of would love to play as Bavaria as well. I mean, Austria is tempting. Hungary, which is probably my favorite country to play in EU4. Lithuania would be fascinating to me as well. Like, do we convert to Catholicism? Do we convert to Orthodoxy? Do we try to stay with our pagan religion? Can we hold the tide against both the pressure of the East and the West? The Swedish Empire, right, with their personal union of Norway. How does that happen? Denmark, can we rise? I mean, there's just so many countries. And then King the Second, Debe de Bruce, I believe is who that character is. Yep, King Robert. I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, would there be a way to get Balliol to win in Scotland? And how would history have been different if Balliol had won and been the king? That would be kind of interesting. Played as Bulgaria, right? Can we probably not hold back the tide of the Ottomans entirely, but can we recreate the Bulgarian kingdom to its height in the Middle Ages? Again, there's just so many places that I would love to play as. So I think, as we are down to 9.89 ducats, which is kind of interesting in a way. Not quite sure why we lost so much money there. I mean, technically diplomatic spending should have gone down because we're not annexing two countries. We have now researched late feudal relations. And we're back up to 10.69. So there we go. Still November of 1361, so probably not in this episode. Okay, we are now researching. What are we researching? Cultured overlordship. Subject opinion plus 10. In recent years, the matters of culture and ideas based on the importance of humanity and nature are spread out. This not only applies to our people, but also those who have sworn allegiance to us, making it a new diplomatic tool. We have 374 days left on the Royal Guard in Krakow. 3 years for a lot of our RGOs here, in terms of missing their employees. 2 years for the bailiff in Serdaz. A little bit under 3 years for our fruit orchard and our rural cloth maker. And then Tarun and Posit each have a long way back. Negative 518 burgers there. They do have clerics available, and they do have some nobles available, and they have a tiny bit of soldiers. And Tarun, 271 burgers are missing. They have a little bit in terms of laborers, a little bit of soldiers, maxed out on nobles, and they are getting close to the max on their clerics. How much would it cost, right, if we wanted to build a road? 782 ducats to build a road from Poznan to Krakow. That is just insane. Like, we have no control. Like, right, you can just see we don't have any control. A cathedral, pop conversion, speed, migration, attraction, literacy. Like, none of that actually helps the government, right? in terms of control or anything like that. And we have no soldiers, so... And we have 0 proximity. Proximity of other locations further up on the path to the capital need to be improved before any proximity can reach this one. Negative 18% proximity. Wow. That is something. Serdaz has 0. Now the Baliff, which currently we are missing 132 people, is supposed to give us plus 6.87 proximity. Why the hell is the proximity? What do roads actually do? Like, road builder. Shift. View the hint. Okay, proximity and control, right? Okay, so pretty much what I said, it helps with proximity control. And obviously with no control, you're not producing any ducats into the kingdom. The problem is, again, we don't have the money to build that road network from Pazza to Krakow. Now, Serdaz, when we eventually do get the Baliff built, we'll have to see what we can do there. We have 30% proximity there. So Mestat, we're at 48%. But we're already missing people, so I don't want to build anything there. Monastic intellectuals and our state intellectuals do not stay cooped up in their homes or waste their time on strange theoretical concepts at secular institutions. Rather, they attend monasteries and use their gifted minds for the good of all that is holy. In practice, this means that we are blessed with practical knowledge from our religious institutions for the good of the people, the state, and our faith. My God, I cover the 5th postulate. We gained 5 research progress, and they gained 5% estate satisfaction. Currently, it's at 93%. Or we could say the question nature is the question of the divine. Cease, we gained research considered holy for 5 years. We don't want to do that. So here we only have 32% proximity. So I think I'll build another... How much would it cost to build another Baliff? Baliff costs... And allow 156. 156. I mean, that is expensive. Like, would it not be better to just build a road? I mean, we don't have the money, I know that. But I feel like, yeah, I'm, that seems like a crazy amount for one building. So I don't think I'm going to go in on that just yet. Let's see where we are in our economy with our goods. I think I will build another trading center here in Krakow to try to increase our trade capacity so we can trade a little bit more. This is furniture, we're short. Tools, we're basically even on. Fruit, we're actually good on now. Books, we have a tidy supply on. Paper, though, we're low. Need more paper. What is this? Okay, we're not going to get some of this stuff. Gold, we're actually gold and silver, we're actually making a decent amount on it, to be fair. Yeah, we have a lot of goods we could potentially export, and if we had more towns, we could definitely do something there. Militarily wise, we could have 1,851 regulars. What would maintenance -2? Horseman is -1. Armored horseman is -1 monthly maintenance. Really, you get less monthly maintenance from horsemen than you do footmen. That's interesting. Well, okay, never mind, because you only get 50 footmen. I really do wish there was like a way I could expand our manpower. I mean, I know that's part of technology and the ages and all of that. I control. I certainly get all that. I don't know if I could build another town, I think, right here or in Gneisenau. Although it's right next to Posen, so but I know here in Warsaw, right? Although it's not a town right now, I would want a town. Plock is a town where we do have. Okay, we are missing 27 burgers, but it looks like we have brewery, pottery, distillery, tools, spitters guild, weapons, glass, tannery, and then a marketplace. Plus, we do have a tailor's guild, furniture, tannery, which we already talked about. We also have a granary and a mason, and we have a sergeant. Okay, we have a sergeantry. So that might give us some more manpower right as we annex them. Just trying to see if there's a town here in Rawa. Doesn't look like it. No. So God, like, let's look at Plock. Like, because I was gonna build like a town here, but if Plock's a town, then we're definitely gonna want to try to create a town in Warsaw. Obviously, the more towns there, the more burgers, etc., etc. We are 9% on traditional economy. We're at 7 on the spy network on the Teutonic Order. I think we might try to annex Plock. We're making the scriptorium in Krakow is that one profitable. Okay, pottery, we're actually even on furniture, we're even on fish. We know about what's this? Cloves, pepper. Yeah, we're probably not gonna get that stuff. Incense, tea, medicaments. Okay, that we might be able to try to build. Now, paper makers. Okay, paper makers guild, carpenters guild. Okay, we are building a royal garden already. Now, fishing village, we don't have the ability to build currently. Farming village, we could build. What is it? The veneration of the Virgin Mary. The Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of our Lord Jesus Christ, is the Queen of Heaven and mediator of many graces. As the most perfect woman, her holy motherhood grants her seat at the right hand of God. Or does it? Recently, radical theologians have been arguing that there is no need for such intercession. Are they right, or is the Holy Mother Church in danger of their borderline heretical utterings? May the Madonna forgive them. We gain 5 religious influence, or we could say she's a special woman, but still just a woman and gain 2.5 stability. Huh. That one's tricky. Now, the reason I say it's tricky isn't because I'm trying to deny the importance of the Virgin Mary. It's just, we're not spending a lot. We could spend more on stability. That's fine. We are trying to be a good Catholic nation, so I guess may the Madonna forgive them. So I am kind of, I don't want my king to die, but at the same point, it's one of those things where it's like, it'd be kind of interesting to have a new ruler, as we're the 30th rate country in the world, so we've kind of slipped a little bit. We've still improved from where we were. It's just, we're not quite as successful as we used to be. Yeah, let's actually try an I don't think we've actually ever built an irrigation. Horses, I don't think it would work there. Okay, fiber crops, -1 food. Okay, well, it's the winter time. We do have 2,000 laborers living in Wizlika. None of them are available for employment, but we have 8,000 peasants. The bog iron smelter. Okay, I don't know if we really want to do that. Okay, irrigation is a peasant building. Market village would give us plus 0.64 ducats. The irrigation would give us 1,000 local population capacity and food production plus 5%. 0.1 tools. And would cost 47 ducats, or ducats. We're going to build an irrigation in Wizlika. So the market villages then, if I'm understanding that correctly. Would give us a lot more food. So as the only food producing place in this well, no, we have wild game and wool. Okay. So the wool the wool I kind of want because again, we are trying to create a little bit of that textile industry. But here we have stone. Stone has been one of the main building materials of humanity throughout all its history. Stronger and more durable than other options like clay or wood, it was a go-to material for any construction built to last. Buildings from long ago, like the pyramids, have reached our time still standing due to the durability of the stone they were made of. We do have attrition, normal winter. Now, forest village, we would get leather. Okay, and the market village, we could get jewelry, could potentially get a little bit of weaponry, could get a little bit of beer, a little bit of glass, a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of pottery. Peasants' power would increase by 25%. As trade hubs are needed to gather all the trade-specific areas, they merge to fill that role, give rise to small burger communities. That's a market village. Needs, what does it need? Hello? 1,000 peasants, right? Yeah, okay, we'll build a market village. So that'll take a little bit over 500 days as well. Tarnow produces salt, wool, and what is it? Wild game. Forest village we'd produce a little bit of leather. We could also build in market village, sure. Profit per level for wild game, and it's 0.13. Currently, we have plus 14. Yeah, we have a lot of that. Wool. We have plus 35. Yeah, we definitely don't need more wool. Here in Bix and Jaslo. Okay, fiber crops. We have plus 11. 0.24 profit per level. Can't build irrigation here. That's interesting. Well, if we can't build irrigation and we have no food production here, we are going to spend... Oh, we'll wait a month or two and then we'll build or expand our fiber crops down here to try to improve our food. Okay, we have copper. Okay. Here we go, actually. How much will it cost? 33.5. And copper has been one of the most supported materials since the invention of fusion of metallurgy thousands of years ago. Its uses vary, can be worked alone, but also in alloys such as bronze. This makes it especially important for weaponry, being essential to the early production of cannons. And we think per level we're going to get potentially 1.04. Get 1.19 per level. Currently we have 2.39 and we need 2.39, so we have no balance. So that one actually is going to work pretty well. Hopefully we'll get the more diplomats here, so we'll be able to improve, some opinion maybe here in Cirque. All right, so we'll get Plock. I mean, Aranclaw would be the easiest one to probably improve on. They're also building a market village in Plods. We're building a market village in Busco. I'm going to mispronounce that. They have voted to enact the cooperative investment in our union with Hollich, which, I mean, it'd be nice if we could potentially get, you know, that union just to be how do I want to say it? You know, permanent where we could potentially annex them, right? We are at 136 opinion with the Hungarians. We have 9 spy network power with the Teutonic Order, 48.90 out of 126. You know, in Plock, which lesser Polish culture influence versus the Mazovians. That is one of the big reasons why we're losing. We are losing a little bit of estate satisfaction. 0 of the nobles. Currently they're at 70%, 96% of the clergy. Negative 0.18 and then negative 0.11 with the burghers. Now that we have 440, we are going to go up here to Kiels, and we are going to expand, right? 1.09 profit per level for copper. So we do have 4 building projects going on, right? So our infrastructure is slowly starting to increase. We are up to 637 pops monthly. 59% of them are the lower Polish. 29.5% are greater Polish. 99.5% Catholicism. 84% are peasants. You know, we really don't have a lot of soldiers. What is our bailiff at here? Is it fully manned? I don't see it. It's not an RGO. Nope. We're missing 87. What? We're supposed to be gaining yeah, we lose 86% of the tax base due to loss of control, which I mean you could just see the massive amount there. And that's why control is such a big thing. Now, proximity will hopefully help with that a little bit. But like I said, these buildings don't actually help, and we can't build temples, which do help with control. Unfortunately, like, you can't expand the temple level, right? Now, what we could do theoretically is build a town in every province, which would actually make sense, right, to increase the control. Although clearly, you know, we have a temple up here, and our control's at 13%, right? Which is better than what we have elsewhere. I'm not debating that part. It's just, I think we are going to be able to say that Shopstow insurgents, we've successfully cracked down on them here pretty significantly. I am tempted to create a cavalry, you know, men-at-arms regiment, or, you know, regiment, get 250 professional soldiers. I don't know if that would, like, be wise, because, okay, there is a sergeantry in Plock, right? And so in theory, that gives us the ability, will give us the ability to get more manpower, right? And so then we wouldn't be at 0. And obviously, being able to build out roads would also increase control. But the road I really want to build is just going to, you know, take forever. Lead. Yeah, we have a lot of lead. Clay. More than enough of that. Wheat. We have enough of that. What about over... Okay, what about here? Sturdy grain. Okay, the advancement of the Dutch of Whetstone. The power of the Dutch of Whetstone has never relied on the state itself. Rather, it is in many ways the Dutch of Whetstone who lead their legitimacy to the king through their ties to the spiritual realm. A combination of deft political maneuvering, fear-mongering, and generous donations from our subjects have lately cemented the power of this estate. They're even happier. I mean, fiber crops. Okay, iron. Okay. Sturdy grains. We don't get a lot of. Plus 11 fiber crops, sturdy grains. We get plus 21. Yeah, we really don't need any more of that. Beeswax. Plus 0.3. Okay, wool we know. Sturdy grains we know. Wool we know. I mean, I feel like we'd... Oh, we get 5 a month, is that correct? Promotion it has plus 5. So we should go down to 77. I don't know that the bailiff is actually helping, though. Right? Like, that's the crazy part. Now, maybe it doesn't help until it's fully employed? It's a possibility. Okay, so we actually got 6. Hey, okay, there we go. We actually do... Well, no, wait, never mind. We briefly had 11%. we very briefly had 11% proximity. I am going to build a trade set... A toll castle in Lublin? What the hell is... Why? Possible nobles plus 10. Nobles food consumption plus 100%. A small fortification placed in or very close to a road, river crossing or mountain pass where a small contingent of guards can enforce the payment of a toll to be granted passage. I mean... Okay. Like... I mean, I get it in a sense, but... Okay. I also don't get it in another sense, right? Like, we're at 10 now. Spy network. I don't think we can't improve anything. Take Danzig. I mean, I wouldn't mind to take Danzig, but we wouldn't be connected. So what is this province here? Let's go here to... okay, not that. Not that. Okay, so let's look at roads. Yeah, you can see we have a little bit of a road going through here. And I guess there's no road there. And then you can see Bohemia, like, yeah, we just don't have a lot of roads in Poland. Although I guess technically we could build a road from Poznań down here. Maybe that wouldn't be too expensive. Okay, I mean that's an option, I guess. Um, provinces. Tuchola. That is what we want. We want Tuchola. You can see we are part of the continental system in terms of the weather. There's the vegetation. I mean, the map modes are just amazing. Topography, a lot of flatland, 3D map. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, then we obviously have our locations. So Tuchola is what we want to take, which is right in here. Then Danzig, and then we'll finally have access to the sea. So we are in August, so we're going to go 1357 to 59. That'll be our run time here in this episode. A winery. Why we're building a why that? Okay. Now the priests are building a winery. Masonry and lumber. I mean, I get it. We're up to 943,000 people, so I mean, our pops are going up. We're almost halfway on our annexation of Plock, so potentially in the next episode that'll happen. Alright, our son here can... Alright. I think once we get to September, we'll change his cabinet action, because I think the cracking down on the insurgents, they're at 0%, so I feel like we could probably get away with that. Like, Leccia, we could convert them. What is our target culture? I'm going to try to assimilate. Now, are you converting people to Bizovian? Right. Okay. Okay, so, yep. I'm so confused, though. Because... But we can't convert these people. Right, I want to create people into Lesser Poland. Now, Krakow, like, again, we... Right, I want to expand our culture. Okay, so we'll go to... But why can't we go to Lechia? Like... Acquiring... I don't want to acquire Mizovian. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. So we are down to 10.98 ducats, unfortunately, monthly. And then here we are actually going to go to our marketplace, right, which will give us trade capacity +2. We'll need cloth, jewelry, paper, and beeswax. Costs 41 ducats, but we will also build a marketplace. So we'll be able to trade a little bit more. Relations improved. We have found common ground with our holistic neighbors, and the fact that we share the Catholic faith. I mean, okay, that's fine. So we're expanding mines. We're trying to build a marketplace. We're trying to build apparently a winery. Irrigation's 82 days away. Market Village is 93 days away, sorry. So when we get to November, I'm really curious because, again, like, are we converting people here to Mizovian? Because I want to convert them to Lesser Polish. But I feel like it's going to convert them to Mizovian. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like that's what's going to happen. And if I'm wrong about that, then, you know, I'll be very, very happy. It's just, I'm a little confused, like I said. So I do love the game. Like, I could play this all day, every day. I do apologize that, you know, the game, I'm moving at a little bit of a slower speed. It's just, as I've said before, and I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, so to speak, it better symbolizes the passage of time throughout history. All right, we have the little Austrians here. Yeah, we're not assimilating them. We're acquiring more Mizovians. I don't want more Mizovians. Good Lord. I want lesser Polish people. So I guess we'll go down here to Kaliz. Okay. So let's see what happens here. So we have 99.1% are greater Polish, 182 are lesser Polish. Can we expand our culture there? Because, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, Polish culture is Polish culture, I guess, but that may or may not make a difference. The marketplace is 78 days away. Winery is 120. Milorad Piast has come of age, and he is our ruler's first cousin and courtier of the Kingdom of Poland. We were throwing him a party that he could get to work. I mean, I don't really know what there is for him to do. We are going to go up here with our second son. And Simowet will become a counselor as well, right? Which is one of his strengths, actually. And he is married to, of course, Katharina von Habsburg. The Halich has proposed that the Polish Union enact an active policy for the Union Foundation. Votes can now be cast. We have research culture overlordship giving the following benefits: subject opinion +10. In recent years, the matters of culture and ideas based on the importance of humanity and nature have spread out. This not only applies to our people, but also those who have sworn allegiance to us, making it a new diplomatic tool. Okay, we can't do any of those. Federal laws, we can't do anything. We've already done that. Union Foundation. We can't vote on any of those. Establish seniority. We're going to continue to vote on to try to pass that. We do have a number of grandchildren and young cousins. Currently, our research is the supply limit. Land warfare is becoming more and more dependent on the supply of our increasingly bigger armies. Therefore, a better organization of the supply carts would mean a greater operational capacity for them, plus 10% increase. The prosperity of Skierwerdza is improving. And places are obviously missing, you know, RGOs. Irrigation's about 20 days away. In Serdaz, -48. We just, you know, it's taking forever, but maybe we'll actually get there at some point. We're now building a winery. Marketplace, again, we're 42 days away. So 84 days on the winery, 13 on the spy network. So we're getting closer to being able to build up a spy network. We're getting 1.8 diplomats. Okay, so we can improve opinion of places. Wheat and salt. Okay, we really don't need salt. What is this? A monastery. Negative 0.05 diplomats. Can we improve? No, we can't do anything else. Okay, I mean, that's fine, though. We need fish and rice at the Praha. Who do we have in the Praha market? And the Praha market needs fruit. Why are we... I mean, okay, but what? Do we have anywhere that's in the Praha market? I'm a little confused. So we did unfortunately lose stability there by switching our advisors. 20 days away on the market village, we did build the irrigation. I think that was here. Yep, and it was Lika. We're not making any maintenance. Food productivity is 40.38. I don't know what it was beforehand. Serdaz, we're at 42. Again, we're still at 0 proximity, which is just insane. And Kaliz, all right, we're simulating them. We have 180 pops, which is kind of pathetic, but we are going to try to export some of like our wool and bigger items that I don't know that we're going to make much money from that, but since that is what I'm going to try to create, right, is an agricultural and textile industry here. It kind of makes sense to me to try to bolster that, right? I'm gonna try to get these buildings done. Or Market Village at Busco. Again, we're making 11.41. We're getting good populations. We're almost up to 950,000. We're getting our spy network. You know, we're trying to improve relations with the Hungarians. We're up to 150. God, they have a lot going on. They're building dyes at a fine cloth, and then a bog iron smelter, building some gold, a castle. God, I mean, Hungary would be a lot of fun. Like, I can't lie. Hungary would be a lot of fun for me to play as. I don't think... Hey, we gained 2 people! Unused trade capacity. We don't even... Wait, what? But it's not done yet. But okay. But we have unused trade capacity. That's interesting. We have trade capacity without having completed the marketplace. All right. So we are going to be wrapping up the episode here. We have 467 ducats. We are trying to improve our relations here in Cirque because, again, Warsaw and Warsaw, that is a place we definitely would try to get. And then, obviously, eventually, Rawa here. What are they building? They're building a market village. Okay. The winery is 65 days away. 64 now. So yeah, we're definitely going to have more marketplace. We'll get to March and then we'll take a look at the marketplace because we're definitely going to have marketplace capacity. I do trade manually, right? I don't automate it, which, you know, several people would probably disagree with. But I don't know if you want to call it micromanaging per se. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but I don't know. I feel like you know, it's part of, you know, having a little bit of control, right? And I feel like I'm doing an okay job. Maybe not great. Like, let's take a look at our goods here. I mean, fish. Okay, dyes we actually need now. Fish, obviously, with negative 1.63. That is a big one. Maybe we'll try to import some more fish. Dyes we might try to import as well. The scriptorium is now unprofitable again. 10.78 ducats. We are here in March. So let's go into our economy. Trading. How much trade capacity do we have? We have 1.15 available. Food imports. I don't want to do that much fish. Like, exports for profit. Now, again, we have a crate. We're short on dyes anyways, so I don't want to do that. And we have barely enough gemstones, so I don't want to do that. Now, iron. We do have plus 11. And that obviously would give us the most about... What are we doing currently? Gems, we're salt, fish, and what is this? Paper. Okay. We don't have any government needs or building needs. I mean, population needs, that's obviously good. We have no market automation. Can we just do any trades? So I can't just trade anything. It doesn't look like. Interesting. Because I was going to try to export wool, but it doesn't look like it's just going to... It's giving me... We have 1.15 trade out of the 6. I don't want to select the next market. Yeah, like, I want to trade some. Like, why can't I just decide to trade my wool? I think this is weird. Oh, okay, here we go. What is this? Yeah, we have plus 33, right? Okay, so we can, here we go. Now, wool's not going to give us a lot. Now, we can go to Lubeck, 0.73, 1.15 will use up all of our trade capacity. We'll get 0.49 gold. Now, what's interesting is that in Lubeck, they already have supply of 24.47. Okay, so to Lubeck, we are going to send wool. Now, obviously, our trade range could go, so we are going to export wool from Krakow to Lubeck. 0.49 ducats. I mean, so again, we're not going to get a great deal here, but I want to grow our, we have a lot of wool. All right, there are ducat sides that are eyes. I want to expand our wool industry. That is something I'm trying to do. But we are going to be wrapping up the episode here. We are now building the winery in Krakow. We're over halfway on Plock annexation. Skwerza's prosperity is increasing. The fruit orchard in Mistau, the marketplace at Poznan, well, that's actually a ways away. The Spinners Guild at Tarun is starting to become more and more employed. So, a lot of positives, right, in this episode, I feel like. Less than 2 months in Samothi now. The only place we have for lumber is, unfortunately, 105 months away, so that's still a long ways away, 531 people. But we get some more wool that's going to get produced. Copper, 916. We're still missing. In Serdaz, negative 26. Good Lord. But we still have no proximity. Like, that just amazes me. How do we not have proximity at this point? Like, that does not make any sense. I feel like you should have proximity by now. But that's what the game says. That's what the game says. Even if I don't totally understand that. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, because our control is up to 17%. Maximum control is 18.37. That I like. Now, maybe it's just because proximity source plus 17.33. Now, is that giving us a 17% control? Okay. Now, the noble power does, increase, unfortunately, here, but we can spend a religious influence, okay. Now, current control is 18%. Now, obviously, as our control increases, right, our income goes up. And I am going to continue to try to trade. What would inviting a foreign cleric? We'll be sent an experienced clergyman from another country. Will anger our local Dutch Winstow, but the expertise of this forward cleric may be invaluable. I don't. We lack the 138 to have a cardinal seat. Okay. All right. We are up to 181% people who are Leicester Polish. And that's where we are going to wrap up today's episode, where we are getting very close to having Serdaz having a fully functioning bailiff. I do think, based on what I'm seeing, like it would make sense here to try to say, to build a bailiff here, potentially in Saztek, and say, what would it cost to build a bailiff? $125. That's what, 380. We have 8,400 peasants. We would need 200 soldiers. Sure. We'll build a bailiff there. Because we currently have 5% control, which is obviously killing our economy there. We're not gaining, obviously, much manpower. Monthly manpower plus 5. And we're spending 4 on our maintenance. So you can see we're up to 17% proximity now. I mean, we're still not gaining much, right? 0.11, but I mean, it's better than what it used to be, right? And then here we have 12% proximity. Okay, in Walloon we already have a castle though. So here in Zhao, where we have the wool, I'm tempted to build more wool, but that really doesn't make sense. We have 6,000 peasants. Okay, we have 8,100 here. So I think I'll build. What would it take? Another 125. 365 days for another bailiff. You can see where we have our bailiffs. $124 here. We'll build another bailiff. Right? So we got a few bailiffs to be built to try to improve proximity and control. And that is where we'll wrap up today's episode. Thank you everybody for watching. Sorry, got a little bit long. We are Jude of 1359. And I will talk to you all later. Take care.